Let's take a first look at the NYXI Joy-Con alternatives. So you might be like me and not really get on with the official Joy-Cons. They're a bit small, a bit crampy. You kind of wish you had like a pro version. Well, you're in luck because the NYXI Joy-Con alternatives may be for you. They're like a larger size Joy-Con with full-size joysticks, or at least bigger joysticks. And we're gonna take a first look at them today. However, I'm gonna say straight away, this is not the review. This is the first look, sort of unboxing, my first impressions, and then at a later date, I will do a full-blown in-depth review like I've covered the Hori, the MobaPad, and Binbox in the past. So if you wanna see any of them, go down there and subscribe and check the other videos out as well. And we did receive this sample for free from NYXI. However, I'm under no obligation to sway my opinion. I am always honest on 128KB. So let's jump straight into it. So this is the box. So it's actually quite a nice box. I kind of am digging this kind of sci-fi-esque, like, I don't know, graphic on there. And it's got NYXI. Or is it NYX? No, it is an I. So it's NYXI or NYXI. I don't really know how you're going to pronounce it, but I'm just going to call it NYXI. So wireless controller for NS, which is the Nintendo Switch. And you kind of get a little box like picture on the front there to say, this is what yours look like. And there's some sort of RGB kind of like hints at the bottom there, because you can see where it looks like we're going to get some RGB on there. On the side, you've got colorways. So I guess they do these in different colors. You've got wireless. So these are actually wireless, supposedly. They have dual vibration. They have 6-axis gyro. There's actually some more features as well, but we'll go into that, right? So let's crack them open and see what we get inside. Ooh! Oh, we get a manual as well. Can't forget that. So you do get a manual, and let's see if it's in English. Well, yep, it's in English. It is in English. There's quite a lot of stuff on this manual, but yep, it is in English, which is always a good sign. Let's see what we get underneath. Woohoo! Okay, so we get this, which everyone knows what this is, right? It's so that you can use them wirelessly. We'll take a look at this properly when I get the Joy-Cons out and slide them on, but this is so that you can use them as kind of like a pro controller. But again, we'll come back to that. Then you get a USB-A to USB-C, which is nice. I'm glad that it's a USB-C cable. So you get a charging lead there or an update cable, whatever. So yeah, there we go. Now let's take a look at the actual Joy-Con, shall we? So here we go. If I can open it, which I cannot. There we go. And there they are. Ooh, I'm kind of digging this kind of like satin finish on them. Let's get them out. There we go. That is the NYXI Joy-Con alternatives. I'm quite liking this kind of like satin finish just here. It's actually quite nice, to be honest. Ooh, it feels good as well. And you can straight away see just how ergonomic these are. Like, look at the size of that compared to the Switch. Look, same side, so right, and wow, look at that. Size difference is crazy. You can just see straight away, like, this is gonna be way more ergonomic. Like, look at that. I can actually hold this in my hands comfortably. It's comfortable. Whereas this thing is just not comfortable. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the original Joy-Cons for like certain games and stuff, but over time when you're playing handheld, it gets crampy, man. Like, it really gets crampy. Whereas these, you know, that's big, chonky. It feels like a proper controller. So straight away, like, the ergonomics are feeling pretty good. Let's have a look at the other side. Ooh, you can see we've got a D-pad here. So, oh, okay. D-pad. I don't know what I feel about that. Seems all right. Again, it's not the best D-pad in the world. It seems okay. Like, to be fair, now that I'm using it like this, I'd probably say it feels a bit better than the Hori SplitPad Pro D-pad. The Hori SplitPad Pro D-pad's a little bit like thick, whereas this is like, seems to be, I don't know, like a bit thinner. Like, it's got kind of a more flatter surface, and it seems to like roll quite well. I mean, you can hear it's a little bit janky. It's a little bit crunchy. Maybe that'll wear in. We'll have to wait until I do the full review to sort of give my opinions there. But again, left side, very comfortable in comparison. So that's the top down just there. That's it, like, from the sides. That's the backs. and then the other side, and then underneath. And underneath, you can see there's 2 USB-C ports. Now these USB-C ports, you can either charge via them, or I think you can update the firmware, but these do charge on the Switch. So once you've got them like on the Switch, you can just charge your Switch and they will actually charge. So that don't worry, you don't have to charge these individually, right? Those feel quite nice. Those joysticks just there, they do feel quite nice. We've got our standard buttons, so let's go over the buttons, shall we? We've got the plus button there, we've got the home button, we've got face buttons. Oh, they feel quite nice, to be honest. Like they're fine. Like they're membrane, but they feel all right. There's nothing too bad about that. They're not like overly rattly either. Then we've got our triggers. So triggers again feel consistent, really. Slightly less pressure to actuate than the face buttons. Then we've got a back paddle, which is like an assignable paddle. Now this is more of like a clicky button, rather than that kind of like big mushy membrane. It's more of like probably what these are like, yeah. And then on the back we've got macro button, the M just there, and that's to assign any button onto that back sort of paddle just there. And then we've got T for turbo as well. So T, you can assign turbo to anything, and then you know what turbo is, right? If you have it one way, you can press the button once and it will just fire, like rapid fire that button until you like press it again, or you can do it so you can press and hold it and then it will rapid fire whilst it's being held. Now on the other side, which is this side here, the left side, we've got the screenshot button, we've got the minus button, we've got the joystick. Oh, we've also got those buttons on the side there, you know, like so that you can actually use these as an individual controller. We've got the same back paddle and also the macro and the turbo button and also the shoulder buttons as well. Now, if I turn these on, because I've got battery in them, I think. Oh, there we go. Can you see that? There is RGB. Oh wow, look at this. As I roll it, it rolls the LED lights around. Now I'm sure there's probably like different effects, but that's really cool. Like that looks cool. Let's put them on the Switch. So Switch, boom. This is the Switch OLED, by the way, if you're wondering. And that is how big the system is. But to be honest, it feels comfortable. Like, I know it's big, it is big, but that's kind of what you want from larger Joy-Cons, right? You want something that's gonna be like more stable, more sturdy, and just more comfortable. And straight away, like that is feeling good. The ergonomics of the actual controllers like are sitting nicely in my hands, and the like angle at which my thumbs are at, like you can see my hands are flared out more, whereas these ones, like you're kind of cramped up like this, whereas your hand should really be like at an angle rather than like this. So with these, you can see straight away my like hand placement is out, and that feels way nicer. So let's just turn the Switch on. Okay, so you can see there we've got, ooh, they work. You can see we've got the color there. I think to change it, you press the turbo button and then click in the right, yeah, there we go. So click in the right stick whilst pressing turbo. And I really like the fact that it rolls the LED around as you roll the controller. Let's do it again. So turbo. So there's some colors for you. The blue's pretty cool, stands out, it like shows really well. Okay, so let's do that again on the other side. So turbo, there we go. So we've got them on blue because I think it shows up on the camera quite nicely. That's cool. So these also, right, so we've got gyro on these, we've got rumble, we've got wireless control. I'll show you what it's like on this in a second. We've got RGB LEDs around the like joysticks. We've got a macro button on the back, which I've shown you already, right? So these sort of like macro paddles. And we've got turbo as well. That's quite a lot of features. It doesn't have NFC. And that's pretty much the only thing that it's missing. It doesn't have NFC. But, you know, to be honest, I think these are pretty feature packed. So here we go. So this is what it's going to be like if you want to use these as just a general controller. And there you go. It actually, It actually feels really nice. Like, I actually quite like that. I mean, you can probably see that on the joysticks, there's like really fine like etching around it. There's like some sort of like grip around there. So they are quite comfortable in terms of like feel when you're just using them. I don't know if they're like full-size joysticks. They seem a little bit smaller than like a proper full-size joystick, but they're definitely bigger than these ones. I mean, really quickly, look at the travel on this, right? If I go just to the right, there's hardly any movement there, which makes these really inaccurate. Whereas, look how much more movement there is, which definitely aids to accuracy. But yeah, so that's what these look like as like a individual thing. So you can actually use these as a wireless controller, like a pro controller, or you can use them individually. So you could play like one person has one and then one person has the other. I mean, I don't know how comfortable that's going to be to use like this compared to this, because these are so small that it's like fairly easy to use, whereas this is pretty chonky. So I mean, I'm sure it'd be fine, but I'd definitely say these are meant to be played just like this instead, really. Now, one thing I wanted to say is these look surprisingly like the Binbok versions. So, I mean, I'm 90% sure these are rebranded Binbok controllers. However, don't shoot me, NYXI. If you're not rebranding their controllers, well then, you know, that's cool. It doesn't matter if you are or if you're not, to be honest. But they look surprisingly similar, okay? They're like identical, other than the fact that you've got the NYXI kind of like logo on here, and obviously on the front just there. I mean, I don't have any experience with the Binbok full-size ones, but I have done a review of the Binbok Slims, and I really like them, so you can check that video out on the channel as well. But these ones, you can actually get 10% off if you use our code at the checkout. So it's 128KB. If you use these on NYXI's website, you can get 10% off, and you'll probably find that in the description link as well. But yeah, I mean, first impressions, I'm quite liking these. I mean, the size is really nice. They feel comfortable, you know, like that's one of the things I really like. I do actually quite like the RGB LED rings. It's pretty cool, but this is a first look and first impressions. I will have to go and use these properly for a couple of weeks to get my opinions and everything, and then I will be releasing a full-blown in-depth review. So stick around if you want to see that. And of course, if you want to see the Binbok review or maybe the Hori SplitPad Pro review, well then go check them out here. So you can check them both out here, either the Binbok Slim Joy-Cons or the Hori SplitPad Pros. The reviews will be just here, so go and click those videos. Oh, and subscribe first. Make sure you're subscribed. Do that first. Definitely subscribe first. Just do it.